All right. Hey, Cord, what's going on with you?
How you doing? How you doing?
Appreciate you meeting with me again today.
No problem, no problem.
So let me go ahead and say this is the second time that you and I are meeting, and we're doing so before the first video has even aired yet. And you haven't even seen what we're putting together featuring your story. That video is going to actually air tomorrow, but I want to let you know, I think your story is really going to reach a lot of people.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
You shared with us some pretty wild stuff in the first video that we did. Ex-high-ranking gang member, gang leader, level 3 up to level 5 prisons, 10 years in prison, catching an attempted murder charge while in reentry at a level 5. I mean, all of these things are damn near unheard of.
Yeah.
But one thing that we didn't get a chance to talk about in that first video was where your life is at right now. I want to go through the mud with you some more, especially in relation to your prison experience, because I know that there's probably quite a bit to share in relation to that. But I want to start this video off on a real positive tip and talk about your life after incarceration.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, talk to us about what's been going on with you since being released, the work that you've been doing. It's crazy to think you've been as successful as you are given all that you've gone through.
Yes. It definitely started when I was released after going through all those changes that I had to do at a young age. I just came out with a positive and changing mindset that I was on a thin rope and I wasn't awarded the opportunities to mess up again. So I took that and I kind of strived with it. When I first came home, I was offered an opportunity at a warehouse down here in my home city, which is Portsmouth. But the actual warehouse is in Chesapeake, and I was given a job. It was like the bare minimum job. It was the bare pay. I was loading trucks and unloading trucks for this distribution center called Damco. It's out in Chesapeake. So that was like the first job. They won't do another paying me like $9.25. So I stayed there a while and just kept pushing, kept being focused, making sure I check in with my probation officer, maintained employment. And over a time period, I met this guy. He was my supervisor. His name is Michael Snyder. So if he do witness to see this, I'm pretty sure he'll be happy for it. He actually gave me my first opportunity, which was that opportunity was a supervisor position had ended up coming open in a distribution center, and I was awarded an interview for it. He just was like, hey man, you fit the kind of criteria, even though you don't got all the education for it. You ain't go to school like I did go to school for it. You a hard worker. You was never late. You was definitely on your job. You always did a good job. You double checked, made sure you ain't make no mistakes. And I wanted to see, could I get you into this and teach you a few things? So of course I was like hesitant at first because I'm like, hey man, at the end of the day, Mike was white. And not saying it to be racist, but I'm saying, hey, it's all these employees that been here before me. Like, what do he want with me? I'm probably not the only one that's earning or being productive, but it was something he seen in me. So he eventually started showing me like little things outside of loading, the computer network. He was showing me all the software and how to basically like run the operation over time. He used to bring me in our office, show me a whole lot of different computer etiquette skills and stuff like that. So that went on for a few months, and when a position came open, he asked me how did I feel about it, and I was just like, well, I'm kind of doing my thing here. He was like, look, it's way much money. I believe in you. I'm gonna give you a shot. So he ended up sending me home that day because I had to go home and he had to treat it as a real interview. So he sent me home. I had to go home, get in some slacks, dress for the interview, which was that afternoon. So he gave me time to prepare. So I came in, it was him, which he was the manager at the time, and then the operation manager came in, and the vice president of the company came in. So they was the ones doing the hands-on interview. And I had to definitely be punctual because at the end of the day, they was trying to promote inside the company. And they kind of knew a little bit of my story by me being released from prison not too long ago, doing all that time and adapting. So it was just some good people that wanted to believe in me and give me a shot. So I had to go. It wasn't easy on the interview. I had to go up against another person. He had 20 years of distribution. His name was Mr. James. He had like 20 years of distribution under his belt at the time, something like that. He went to school for. He was very familiar with the structure. And they both interviewed us and did cross interviews and asking us both different questions and stuff like that. So going up against this guy, the first thing I was like, oh, they gonna go with him. He's seasoned. And it was cool because maybe it just won't my time. And so we did the interview and everything. Interview took like 2 hours. It was a 2-part interview and stuff. So I was sent home after that. So I showed up to work the next morning because I was working the morning shift, and my boss came in and he was like, man, hey, Coy, why are you here? So I'm like, what you mean? I'm like, what, I got too many hours? I'm thinking because I'm a hard worker, I always sign up for the overtime hours and everything. He's like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, I'm coming to work. Oh, I got too many hours. What, you need me to go back home? He like, yeah, I need you to go back home, but it ain't because you got too many hours. Take these company shirts and you're gonna start the night shift tonight as the supervisor. So when he said it, of course I'm like, man, he joking, man. This other guy went against, man, he had everything in order. He was very direct with his approach, and I wouldn't understand why would they pick me over him. So I didn't understand that with just a GED coming from DOC. So I'm like, it is no way. So he's smiling, he laughing, he like, yeah, we decided to go with you. And I'm like, man, I can't believe this. So he was like, yeah, so the only thing is left is your paperwork. You got to come in and sign your paperwork. So come in the office. So I came in the office and I read everything because reading fundamental. So I read everything when he gave me the contract. So first thing I look up there, I see $70,000 for the year salary. So first thing I'm looking like $70,000. And they were like, yeah, for the distribution supervisor, and it was a $2,500 sign-on bonus. Now at the time, I already was thinking, okay, well, just 7 months prior to this, I was working, and my job history was nothing, unless you want to count what I did in DOC, and I was getting if I ain't mistaken, like $32 a month. You know what I'm saying? For like wiping tables. I had a kitchen job before. I had a recreation job. That was the best one to me because it gave me time to come out the cell and interact with other inmates from across the yard. And I'm like, well, wow, I can get this. That probably average out, if I'm not mistaken, that's literally probably average out to like a couple of bucks a day, and for doing all of these hours. So I'm like, 70,000, what? And a $2,500, what? I'm like, yo, Mike, this a mistake. Am I reading this right? Am I comprehending right? I mean, he's laughing and like, yeah, we're going to offer you this, and this just for peak one. So I'm like, what? He was like, yeah, sign the paperwork. I signed it. I got a company check for $2,500. You know what I mean? Couldn't wait to cash it. When I went, matter of fact, I didn't even go back home. My first thing was go to the bank to cash debt off rip. So it definitely changed my income status because before that I was making $9.25 an hour. So the same company that hired me $9.25 an hour turned around and gave me a salary over like 7 months later for it added up to $70,000 a year. So just coming home, I'm looking, when I got back home after I cashed my check and everything, I'm just looking around like, wow, like, okay, this money might add up, you know what I'm saying? So, and then it was the pressure of, oh man, now I got to perform this job. Hey, this is my first time going around, so I'm nervous. I don't want to make no mistakes. But it ended up working because of my past. So, which is my past of being in leadership and gang. If I can lead a gang, why can't I lead a warehouse? So I did not look at it that way. It took for Michael Snyder, I say his name again because that's a good man, for him to see that and be like, well, shit, if you can run a game, it ain't too hard to run this. These people are acting like game. They're acting like inmates. That's all it is in a warehouse environment. And people that's watching this, I know what I'm talking about in the warehouse environment. Everything goes on in there. So it's just like one big daycare. And just like with the gang is, watching a bunch of little homies or the little bros growing up and coming up in the rank and making sure you keep them on track and stuff like that. So I applied my gang knowledge to that and ended up making it a career at the time. So that was my first contract. And I was able to go down to the probation road. At the time I was on probation with Sparrow. He's a probation officer. I don't know if he still is, but in the Portsmouth area. And I remember going to go check in with him, and I bought him my pay stub. So I bought him my pay stubs a week because that was part of the thing that I had to do being on supervised gang probation. So I showed him my pay stub. So he kind of threw it on the desk and he talking and stuff like that. So he looked and he looked at it again. He was like, man, where's this at? I was like, man, that's in Chesapeake and stuff. He like, you didn't tell me you had another job. Like, no, I still got the same job. I just got promoted. So he was like, Barnes, you mean to tell me you getting promoted? And I'm like, yeah, I got a contract and everything. I get $70,000. He was like, he said, when you first came to my office, he said, I knew something was different about you. He was like, I didn't know where it was, hey, this guy going to end up going back. Is he going to give me a hard time? He said, I knew it, so it was something different about you. So I was like, yes, I'm the supervisor down there. So the first thing he asked was, he was like, man,
I was going to say, are they hiring?
Yes, that's what he did. That's what he said, could you do me a favor? So I'm like, what favor can I do my probation officer but stay out of trouble? He was like, man, I got a couple of people that's unemployed. They've been home for a while, Barnes, and I just was wondering, do you think you could do something for them? And I'm like, actually, I'm in control of the hiring. I do the hiring process. So give me the candidate names, and I'll touch bases with them. So I had them. When I brought them in and did the interview, these guys was definitely like how I was when I came in. It was rowdy. Didn't even dress for the interview. Tattoos all on the face and everything. And the first thing I was like, oh man, is this guy gonna work and everything? So I offered him a job. What I did was paid them more than what I came in with. So I offered them a little job for $10.50 at the time. That was the cap I only could do at the time by being the new supervisor. And I'm still in my 90 days probation period, so I still had to get everything signed off through my boss. But I gave them I gave the two guys a job, and when they came in, I could say from the time the interview was until where they came back in to report for work, they were different people. Both of them. They were different people. They came in, it was yes, sir. They was ready to work. So I was working with them like they used to have like car problems. I go pick some of them up. I stopped the other teammate. Hey, man, look, stop what you're doing and everything. I'm going to keep you on the clock. Hey, could you run up here and get this person? He's having trouble getting back and forth to work. And I basically did that strategy of working with these people. I go pick them up myself. And after months and months of doing this, the probation officer just was like, man, I like what you're doing. I'm making him look good. So he is happy to see me. He stopped making me come down every week. He just like, look, he'll call me like, hey, look, man, I got somebody that's going to call you. And one time I'm sitting on the phone like, okay, I'm getting another call. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to call you. I'll click over. It's like, hey, man, this is the probation officer from Norfolk. Listen, man, I hear you doing your thing and you got a nice position, something going for yourself. And, hey, man, I got a couple of guys that's coming home. Would you mind employed? Do you think it is? I mean, they got a couple violent charges or whatever. I'm like, you know what, man, send them to me. So I sat down and I talked with my boss one time. I'm like, look, man, these guys that's coming home, they're just like me, man. Some of these people got real severe cases and people not trying to mess with them at the time. So is it okay if I hire these guys? Look, I'm going to try to keep them in control and stuff like that. We got security up here and stuff like that. So he was really like, I don't want to do more of a just hire a bunch of ex-cons. He referred to us as ex-cons because he's a good guy, but what he really wanted to say, a bunch of fellas. You know what I'm saying? That's what he really wanted to say. He was like, because I wanted to be able to get this work done. So I told him, I was like, you got to think about this. The people y'all had before I was supervisors, I was smart enough to look at it and be like, okay, this person is in college. They working part-time. Yeah, they're a good worker, but this person will call out anytime they got an exam or anything like that. This person got the whole world ahead of them. You don't know what they're so young, you don't even know what their accomplishments gonna be. So instead of looking at that and trying to make them work harder here, they're not gonna be committed. I'm gonna tell you who is gonna be committed. A person that did all that time and is trying to make a change, and you give them a legal way where the funds add up for them to provide for themselves and their family. Those are the ones that's going to be loyal to the company. Those are the ones that's going to show up and they're going to give their all every time, because if they're anything like me, they honored to be in a situation, to be given a chance. So I basically took that, and these people have degrees and everything and couldn't see or understand how did I keep my staff numbers up. That's any distribution center, when you look at it today, they battle with trying to keep personnel, keeping teammates. The turnover ratio is high. It started off with about, if I'm not mistaken, 63% universal, because you got temp agencies that come in, you got seasonal workers, you got part-time workers that come in, and then you have the administrative that is careered in and salaried in. Those are the only people that don't really change around. But when you're dealing with the workers, the people who's gonna load the trucks, the scanners, the people who gonna the auditors and stuff like that, they're gonna turn over because they're gonna be offered a better job. They might just be going to school. They might be on a break from school. They need to pay tuition. They need to do that and get their extra income, so they're not going to be dedicated as it is to this person. They got all these strikes on their record, and it was just all they needed was a chance. And the people that show them that chance, they get their loyalty to. You got to work her forever. So while I'm sitting in this distribution center, I'm watching all the temp agencies fade out. I'm talking about they're short staffed. They can't keep people. So now they seeing, hey, you got the teammates telling them, hey man, you work for this company. Yeah, man, I work for this, my supervisor called me. Man, look, I love to get up there, but you know my record, man, look, call this man. Call him. He gonna understand. He gonna give you a job. He gonna put you to work, but you gotta work when you get there. It's gonna be a field. So the people gravitated to me. And then you gotta understand, I'm hiring my gang members that's just coming home. Now I'm telling them, hey, look, bro, remember that situation we did like that? I led you good on that. Check this out. I ain't got no pack for you, but come on up here. I got a job for you. With your first day home, you ain't got to worry about your PO, asking about employment or nothing like that. You ain't gonna have to act like your mama. If you come home to your mom, asking she need a little help. You ain't got to worry about your baby mama that been holding the crib down the whole time you been gone. I'm going to put some money in your pocket the first week and continue to put it in there. And it's going to be steady. Just stick with me. So it actually like blew up to the point they like, hey, this guy's young. He's a young supervisor down here. What is he doing? They're coming in. I'm talking about my company sending me shirts. They're sending me all type of everything they can get in me because I don't really know at the time. I'm making these people millions of dollars. And I'm like, and they're just so happy. So it's cord and they looking past everything. At first it used to come in with hey, do you think that's too much on him, or do you think this gonna work? Hey man, you know we got a lot of gang member employees. Are you scared it's gonna be a gang fight in this facility? And we talking about business. You can't have none of that. But I trusted my people. My boss trusted in me, and I trusted in my people. You know they weren't gonna do that because I only picked the people that I knew needed chances. Everybody else get looked over. And it was hard. So when it's coming out there, I'm really busting the scene off of it. Like I really bust the lid off of the distribution thing. And I rolled it out for like a year, and then I got promoted again. I got promoted to operation animal. My boss got a promotion. And they sent him to another location because of me. And they brought in another vice president, and I was up on him as the operation manager. So of course I had to learn the hours and the time clocks and everything like that, but I was already fluently with it. I knew how to run it.
Let me jump in here a little bit.
Yes.
You know, look at the first video that we filmed in the war stories and going through the mud. I mean, everything. And then how this video is right here talking about your life after all of that.
Yes.
You come home, start off at $9.25 an hour, go to $70,000 an hour, get another promotion. But I want to talk about these guys that you were bringing on.
Yes.
You know, what was your success rate there? You know, talk numbers with that. How many guys made it, or percentages versus how many didn't work out?
Okay. So I would say out of all the hiring I did,
how many people you think you hired?
With just this one, and because this was the beginning of it. When I was down at this location, me personally, I had over, within that year, I could say over 180 people.
Over 180
Myself, that was my hand picks. We had way more than that, but I'm talking about my hand picks who I, through the probation, because I told you the probation boards was reaching out to me from different cities. Because my probation officer, Mr. Sparrow at the time, I'm getting people jobs just like that. So of course they're passing it on to them like, hey, I got a guy down here that just came. I don't know how he was talking about me, but I'm pretty sure it was good. Hey man, I got a guy that came here, came home from this maximum security. He is, look, this man getting people jobs. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, it was about myself, about 180, if not more.
Well, let's just use 180 as the number. Out of that 180, how many of those guys actually worked out and, you know, made it there? Was there a high turnover rate? I'm sure there was.
No, it was I had 75% of, probably like 25 of them turned over due to they got job promotions themselves.
Right, that's what I was going with.
They got job, they end up going to companies that had them straight through. With no temp agencies involved.
Yeah, the only reason I was saying the turnover was probably high because like you had shared about the warehouse life, you know, that turnover is high in general. But I'm sure that there were guys who just didn't make it.
Yes, sir.
And probably even even guys that made you look bad.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I had.
Share a story with us about, you know, one of the guys who made you look the worst that you brought on.
Okay, the worst at this location, because it been a couple times. I had played the fool a couple times, putting my all into people. So at this location, I had it was a situation between three teammates. They weren't getting along. They had street beef or whatever. They wouldn't leave it on the streets. They brought it into the facility. And I did my best to split them up, split them up so they could get their job done because they were good workers. So one day I'm in the office doing paperwork, and so I'm not watching my floor now. I got my own leads appointed to watch the people, call me on the radio while I'm in the office if anything urgent happened. So one of these guys get into it with one of the other guys, and they're located inside a trailer. The other guys come out of their trailer, go over to them, push the cart. It was some ACs at the time. If you stack them up high, you can't see behind the cart. Stack it up, pushed it in front of the trailer. So if you're walking down the dock, if I was doing rounds or anything and I look, it just looked like somebody unloading. You can't see in it. And they went in there and attacked this man. Like they would say penitentiary. They did a prison hit. You know what I'm saying? Nothing. I knew exactly what it was. They blocked it off, went in that man's trailer and assaulted him. I'm talking about and did him dirty. I'm talking this man had splits on him. He needed stitches. He had to go to the hospital, blood everywhere. So he came out. I got brought to my attention because after they did the beat down, they moved the cart back and went back to their station like nothing happened. He eventually comes stumbling out, blood all on his face. He yelling, help, help, help. Security get involved. Boom, boom. They call me on the walkie-talkie. Hey, Barnes, come down to the dock, bay door 2. Man, I come down there. They got him sitting on the floor, and they went and got the medical kit that's in-house, and trying to stop the bleeding and everything while the ambulance is on the way. So the first thing he tell me, they jumped me, they blocked off the da-da-da-da, so it's a big scene. Now, Manuel, I don't know what happened this time. I'm just thinking they got in a fight, and I didn't know they really did this and took that penitentiary stuff, because that's a hit in penitentiary. That's what you do to get around the cameras. You block it off, go up in the cell, handle your business, come up out, back up out it. Man, these people went and did that, man. I thought it vouched for these people and put money in these people's pocket. So I don't know. So now, man, we got to do the investigation. Man, we look back on the camera. I'm watching these folks push this cart in front of this man. This man minding his business. You can see him inside his trailer, working his trailer, moving his items to the cart. It's just a regular day. These folks, I see one go in his joint, they talk about it, come out, one push the cart, the other one slide in, the other one come on the other end. they stay in there approximately probably, and they was in there for a long time. And a fight, people look at it like 5 minutes on a fight. That's a long fight. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how people been in physical altercation. I've been in many of them. 5 minutes to be fighting, going straight at it, that's a long time. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you. So they wore them out in there, unfortunately. And once we seen the footage and everything, I had to fire the dudes. So now the other guy looking for compensation. He didn't went the other route. Oh, I'm suing. So I got in trouble behind it because what they said was either though they ain't look at it as okay, well, it was your fault. They look at it as like, okay, you may need to watch the people you hiring. They were like, he's trying to put in a lawsuit, but the lawsuit couldn't go for our company because we just stepped in. We're a third party coming in to run it. So it really had to go with their security because the building provides security. So he did do a lawsuit, but it won't towards us. So basically I got wrote up for it because they said I should have been doing more rounds. Of course, they checked the camera, and I was getting a little bit lax. Although I had a lot of paperwork, I still supposed to stop. And either though I got leadership on the floor appointed in place, I still supposed to go check on them. And they were like, I would have been able to pin that. So basically, hey man, you in the office, this is what your people out here doing. This is a gang hit. This is not nothing of the, you get what I'm saying? So man, my boss is coming in, they telling me like, hey, look, man, we got to give you a push-up. So I'm like, what's that? So basically I had I got written up behind the incident of not carrying out my task, which was making my annually rounds on the floor and making sure everybody is abiding by the rules and stuff like that. And I would say I had got laxed on it because I trusted my people. Once I got the flow, I'm like, man, this is going to go, who would mess this up? I'm giving these people money. These people getting paid, and now these people are getting paid to the point when I got to the operation manager, I was able to, and this real and this documented, I was able to max out my employees highs or low. So basically, they could come to me if they started off at 10.50 or something like that. All I had to do was sign and say this person was doing a good job, he never been late and stuff like that, and I could give them the max, which the max at the time was $15 an hour.
Man, I didn't mean to interrupt you right there,
Yes,
but
sir.
I had to stop and start that camera. Let me just jump in since I have this moment to do so. You've done incredible, since coming home and getting to these supervisor positions,
Yes,
promotions, but it certainly probably hasn't been without some trials and tribulations.
Yes,
and it sounds like most of that came from, even though you've only shared one incident, but you say you probably could share a bunch.
Yeah.
It sounds like a lot of your trials and tribulations in your own career after incarceration involved trying to help other people.
yes, yes.
Were there numerous incidents where people were making you look bad after you were sticking your neck out there for them?
Yes, it was plenty. It was more it was more so because they get laxed. And you got to understand from their point of view, and I had to learn this, and this was at my first location. I continue to get different jobs for high amounts, but when I'm learning on this phase was my learning stage, and I had to talk to some of my older guys. I was telling them what's going on. They hearing what was I was doing, and they're calling back in the system, and some of my guys that got life and stuff, they acted as a mentor to me while I was locked up, incarcerated. They was letting me know like, hey man, sometimes you can't stick your neck out for everybody. It's not gonna work. But I'm telling them, hey, these the people I want to hire because these are my kind. That's what I'm thinking after doing all of this time. Like, hey, who wouldn't? Why would I have to watch you? I'm putting money in your pocket now. It's no more. I took the $9.25 and I made a way to the point where y'all coming in at $15. I'm maxing you out. Yeah, at the time, 2019, 2020, $15 is $15 on top of I'm giving you overtime. So you're ending up with 70 hours. So that's 30 hours overtime, time and a half on top of your regular check. So I'm putting money in your pocket. I'm sitting here doing payroll myself. When I hit the button, sometimes these people checks bigger than mine during the week. And I'm in a position to give y'all those hours, and I wouldn't think nobody would mess it up. I wouldn't think I would have no problems. But I had to learn quick, and I had to learn fast that it is. People were taking advantages of coming in, being at stations they weren't supposed to be in, working around the system, making it look like they working, but the whole time you inside the truck doing other things. Had situations where they coming in smelling like weed. Like you walking past me, I supposed to send you back home.
I'm sure that was actually a lot.
Yes, that was a lot. That was a lot. To the point I'm like, yo, I supposed to send you home, but I'm telling you, like, hush, hush, look, go back to the car, spray yourself, come back in. I understand. I'm putting my position on the line behind this just to get this job done. And this is what y'all doing. Y'all currently y'all calling in no show. Like, and this don't never happen off rip. I'm gonna tell you when it happens. After they get like their second or third check. That's when it happens.
Now we can go get.
Yeah, now they can go do what they want. They can go get the little pack they've been saving up for. You know what I'm saying? Now they want to be like, oh, I'm good. Little pocket full of money. I ain't even going in today. Oh, I don't need no overtime. And I'm biting myself in the head the whole time I look up. Used to have a full shift on the weekend. Now my boss is calling like, that's all y'all did? I'm like, yeah, that's all we had. We only had this. Okay, why are 25 people missing from your roster? I'm scratching my head like I'm trying to make some stuff up to make sense so they don't come down on me, but they were coming down on me. Yeah, they were doing everything. Man, these folks was having sex on the site, doing breaks. Man, these people were doing stuff, getting caught, and it was making me look like I'm not doing my job. Making it look like I'm over my head. Like, you know what? Is he the one allowing this? Because that's what it's gonna come off to. Because when you're in charge, you have no people to point the finger at. And my boss was so lax, like, you gotta think about it. If I'm doing all of this, my boss, as long as my boss don't hear nothing, my boss getting the money, my boss on salary. My boss had other things to do, so my boss won't even they won't coming up to the compound. They won't coming up to the site. I was running them through an email. This what happened. I get from start to beginning of shift, closing shift. That's it. I hear from thumbs up or make sure you put that time card in, or hey, you made a mistake on this person hours, go back in it and fix it. That's the only communication I had because I had it so good. But it started getting out of hand. And then we're on a night shift. So these folks coming in drunk. Other supervisors calling me like, look, man, your teammate over there drunk, man. He on the equipment. Come on, man. You finna mess something up. I'm like, Lord have mercy. They telling on me. Then I had to worry about the managers that was in there too. I didn't know that they're looking at me envious. They like, hey, man, this young boy coming in at the time, I'm like, I think I was 28. No. I was 26. 26. The managers won't get in that salary. I don't know this, but they won't get in that. It took them all them years. These people in their 50s, 60s and stuff, and they looking like this young buck. You know what I'm saying? Y'all put him down here, or how I gotta listen to this person. He my son age. You know what I'm saying? But it's working. So of course that made them watch on everything. They were calling me out on everything. So they held me to the book.
You know, people may think anything hearing all of this.
Yeah.
Me personally, I know what it's like to try to help a lot of people and that not always work out for you or to be taken advantage of from time to time. And this was happening for you fast and heavy on a large scale.
Yes, it was.
But you would excel from this. You would learn from this.
Yes.
You would continue to get promotions and you would move up in this.
Yes.
But I want to say, it's wild that you end up working in a warehouse, getting that promotion, going from $9.50 an hour, $9.25 an hour to $70,000 a year. Yeah. You know, people looked at you like, man, look at this guy. He gets right up in here. He gets to it.
Yes.
How much like being in prison, and obviously quite a bit, this is a rhetorical question to a certain degree, but, you know, working in a warehouse is exactly like being in prison to a certain degree.
To a certain degree, it definitely is. It's structured. So set timing, you got the structure, you come in, you clock in, you do your work. People can evade the system. They can be somewhere they don't supposed to be. They can click up. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of stuff with it, but it's just like it. It runs neck and neck.
Did you ever feel like you had maybe issues because, you know, you're an ex-gang leader. You're put in a position of power in this facility, and they're like, hey, if you can run a gang, you can certainly run a warehouse. But did you ever have a problem feeling like, you know, you're you're an authority figure here. Sort of like, and I don't want to make this relation, but you know, maybe people are looking at you like you're the person they're trying to avoid, like being in prison dealing with a guard.
Oh yeah, man. You know I was all type of police people, and I'm glad you said it.
I ain't want to say it like
I'm
that.
glad you said it because it used to affect the way I think. Because I used to be like, it was hard for me to go do a round and see something, and I'm like, man, you know you ain't supposed. Come here, you know you ain't supposed to do that. And man, come on, bro. And I'm like, dang, I'm sounding like damn police. So I'm looking at it. I promise I was looking at it first, like to the point, like it was affecting my decision. Like on them tough days, like when they coming to me, bro, come on, man. You ain't gotta fire me. Don't fire me, man. They don't know. Come on, bro. You know, that's all I got. And I done gave you 100 opportunities. And I'm sitting there thinking like, oh man. Damn, that is some police shit. I gotta write this man up. You know what I'm saying? I gotta report this man. Then I gotta go to in front of my boss and then repeat it. So that's like testifying. So I'm like, it's not a court process, but it's going to be something that happened out of here where somebody gonna be determined if they're going to be terminated or not, or just suspended or not. You know what I'm saying? Those were the toughest decisions, and I had to grow out of it.
You had to grow out of it, and I did the same thing.
Yeah, because it was hard making that transition from the gang life to coming out here trying to be successful, but you had to make that I had to buckle down on it because I needed it. I needed to understand it, and it got easier with the time to the point it went from when I come through, hey, what's up, boss? It ain't nothing. They still doing their thing. So when I stepped on that, as soon as I stepped to do my damn round, they tucking stuff, they hiding, they running back to their position, they looking like they working. And I felt that was much more better because it helped me to do my job. Call it, which I done been called. I remember I fired a guy, he told me, you soft, you ain't this, you ain't that, I'll fuck you up, I'll do something to you. And I got homies that's working for me, tensing up like, what? With him, and I had to, hey, oh, whoa. No. You know what I'm saying? No, sir. Not like, no, who the fuck you? No, not know who he talking to. You know what I'm saying? Boy, go back to work. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, see me outside. I'm going to be waiting on you. And in my head, I'm like, boy, you don't even know. You just don't even know. You don't want to be outside if I come out there. And ain't the biggest bad wolf, but hey, listen. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you ain't gonna see no comments where they saying no otherwise. I'm telling you that now. It's out there unless they just trolling me. But people did time with me. I don't try to brag on it, but I'm a force to be reckoned with if I wanted to. You know what I'm saying? I had to snap out of that to the point to where this dude talking to me crazy. Cause suck my, well, we did time. That's an automatic damn near death sentence. They're going to be sticking you up, flying you to MCV or wherever that you're close to. You're going to potentially get poked. And if you don't, you're going to get beat half to death. That's just the way of it. To handle disrespect. That's how I was taught to handle disrespect. So you mean to tell me, and then is this little scrawny dude telling me this and threatening me, talking about so he gonna be waiting over me outside. I be like, man, this crazy. I'm about to lose this whole job. Cause when I come up out this side to go after I'm finished my job and you think you gonna do something, boy, you in there for a rude awakening. So it was that too. It was like the people that did know you, they could have stayed in line. But what about the people that didn't know you? The people that didn't know me, they were trying me. When I tell them, hey, man, come here, man, pull up your pants, boy, you ain't in dress code, man. Go home, find a uniform. Man, who the fuck you talking to, boy? I'll smack the shit out you, supervisor. Don't get this job shit messed up. I'm like, what? I'm ready to, you know what I'm saying? That instant kicking in, like, but you know what, calm down. I walk off, you know what I'm saying? And it was hard for me to be, hey, security, come get him. Yeah, I'm like, oh, Lord, I didn't like you said, that what I'm the warden now? You know what I'm saying? Like, so, yes, it was definitely a tough transition into that. Yes.
I hope people really latch on to what you're sharing right here, because when people come home from prison, and I've shared it quite often here on After Prison Show, most of their struggles are with addiction or, hey, I can't find a job, or nobody will hire me, or this and that. Your situation is a lot different because your entire life pretty much sounds like was violence.
Yes.
Gang activity.
That's what it was.
Gang
That's
leadership,
what I was prone to.
high-level penitentiaries.
Yeah.
So you come home, you hit the ground running, you get right into the workforce, getting a job and excelling at that job.
With gang charges on my record.
Wasn't your issue. Your issue, your biggest struggle, it sounds like, was towing that line between taking it back to the prison.
Yes. Yes, it definitely was. And as a man, you know, as a man, anyway, if you remove the gang, the violence, and everything, as a man in this world, you're looked at to stand on business. When you got a wife, she's looking at you as her protector. Don't nobody want nobody that can't protect them. If true to come in the house and you scary, what you gonna do? You get what I'm saying? So they look at us as to be leaders, and it ain't got nothing to do with gang stuff. So now you mean to tell me with the task of my whole life was it was violence, man. It definitely was, and that's why I get violent for every charge I had. As you know, you can look up on it. The people that know me that's gonna be watching it, everything was violent. I don't have no one non-violent charge. It speaks for itself. So trying to transition out of that, it was like trying to get off drugs. Then when I'm stepping down from leadership in the gang, it's like my people feel as though I'm turning my back on them. It's people that I bought into the game. That now I'm telling them, man, look, man, it ain't cool. We got to approach this a different way. You get what I'm saying? They calling you, now I'm feeling torn in between the two, like, damn, he right. But this lifestyle is going to only lead to one or two things. I seen one of them. So we all know what the second one is either penitentiary or death. So I'm like, I don't want to go out like that. I had to put my pride aside. I had to, you know what I'm saying, my ties that I had. And fortunately, like I said, I won't kick down no whips or nothing like that. As of being retired, I still have the respect. I still talk to big homies to these days behind the wall because I never left them astray.
Say that one more time so people really latch on to what you just said. You said you weren't kicked out of the whip.
Yeah, I wasn't kicked out of the whip. So kicked out of the whip means when you dub, you did something to get out of the blood. You did a violation where they gonna damn near murder you to get out this game. They're gonna kick you out the whip. Nobody wants you. You're no longer blood. You're probably going on an extortion list. So with that being said, I ain't none of that. I'm stamped. I'm definitely was a real blood stamped on the law end, my peers end. You know what I'm saying? And I definitely worked my way up to high ranking. Definitely was. But when you did that, that's all I knew at the time. So these people, some people I watched grow. And some people that were older than me that I got real bond with. That was the toughest part of letting them know, like, hey, man, it's time for me to retire. You get what I'm saying? You know how many looked at it as that's a bitch way out. What you mean? This shit in your blood. Yeah, it is. To this day, it is. But like I said, I told my people and I promised them you'll never be forgotten. Because a lot of my people, I was beneficial to them and they watch me and they like, man, damn, I got all this time, bro. You leaving the game, at least when I know with you, it was structure, it was loyalty. What I'm gonna do? And I'm like, bro, I ain't gonna forget you. You know what I'm saying? Bro, I ain't gonna forget you, man. You still, we got bigger ties than just that blood. Boy, your family. Your book's always gonna be blessed. And the people that's looking at it now, they see this interview, they gonna love to see it. You know what I'm saying? I don't get fought for that. Don't nobody press me. They still look up to me because I didn't have a lot. I ain't do my trials and tribulations. I ain't do a lot of snake stuff. I ain't do a lot of bitch stuff. You know what I'm saying? I was pretty much about a book when it came to the game. You know what I'm saying? That's what made me want to become a leader because I got tired of listening to people. Because every gang member is not positive. Some of them want to wreak havoc. Some of them got life sentence and they don't give a fuck. They don't want you going home either. So we're going to send you on this mission. Yeah.
Man, I just want to ask, and we don't even have to talk about it now, or maybe we don't ever talk about it, but what you just shared right there about some leaders and not leading in a correct way, and that made you want to be a leader.
Yeah, that made me want to be a leader. Because
did you have to ever have encounters or deal with leaders that you didn't feel like were right? Like, you got to take out another leader?
All the time. All the time I felt as though... like I said, when I originally came from my neighborhood blood, when I originally came from the set my neighborhood was banging, and I got to the system on part one, I had to tell you, boy, I had to line up. I had to get right because my line won't sanction. So basically we was false claiming, but I had to get right. With that person used to lead me into stuff that I knew he wouldn't do. Used to be on missions and really I'm talking about violent stuff. I know you won't do it.
Dummy missions.
Yeah, dummy. That's what they call it. Putting a battery in my back. But the difference is I was built for it. I was doing it. I was carrying out. And at first, and I'm going to sit here and tell the people this, that won't me. But when you do anything over 30 days, it's a habit. You get what I'm saying? I continue to do it, so it made me into that person. So no, I didn't come out with just a heart to say, hey, I'm a super hardcore person. No, half the shit I ain't know I was signing up for. But hey, one thing about it, when I take my commitment serious. So when I had to do it, when I was sent on them drills, them missions, I had to carry it out, and I did. Straight up, I carried it out to the fullest. You know what I'm saying? And then just looking back, and when you finally get it, when I'm not brainwashed no more, and not saying the game about brainwashing, but that's how you get new people, recruits. In penitentiary, I was banging before I got to penitentiary. I done watched people come in there scrawny as hell with a murder charge and scared because it ain't nothing but a whole bunch of gang stuff going on, and they're scared to stand on their own too. So what they're gonna do, they're gonna pick a game. Hey man, you come over here, we got you. We your protection. But they're still gonna make you do something for it. Whether it's go on a mission. If you're too small to go on a mission, they're gonna make you pay. Well, you're in charge of making sure we eat. Yeah, little dude ain't worth shit on the battlefield, but fuck it. He got all that money on commissary. It's a max out order to him. That's using. That's manipulation. That's not about game. I put him down because he got some money and he gonna pay us for that's protection. Don't put him in the game. Start his ass. We criminals, remember? we gangsters. We supposed to be gangsters. Fuck, we gotta put this dude in our set and compromise our whole thing. Cause when something happen and he see it and he go tell it, now we all sitting with extra time or feds just because we wanted some zooms and whams, what they call. Cause we wanted some commissary. We knew he was bitch. We knew he wasn't ready for it.
Look, we got about 5 to 10 minutes. I want to wrap this up. I wanted to go from positive right back into the thick of it, and we went heavy on the positive of what you've done and didn't even touch on everything that you've done since being released and getting into a career. And then we went back into the thick of it just a little bit, but I love where we've gone with this particular video. Here's what I want to ask you as we get close to wrapping this one up. You know, your motives for sharing here with me are because you want to give back. You want to share your experience. You want to help others. And man, you certainly have a lot that can be taken into account for especially the younger people out there.
Yes.
But you know, what do you want people to take from what you're sharing?
I want people to not have to go through what I did to get to where you're going. So I want people to get it right as I teach my kids the first time around. Yes, I look at it, hey, I had these opportunities as I tell my story, and there's going to be plenty of opportunities you see and more to get to on different parts. But I want them to know that, hey, yeah, he did that. But guess what? All I got to do is listen, and I can skip all of this. It need to be skipped. It messes with your life. It messes with your food. It make you have enemies everywhere. It make people dislike you. It make the police get down on you. They can't wait to put you away forever.
Well, what about this? You know, you went through a lot of your life, most of your life at this point, being in a gang.
Yes. Yes.
What would you tell to the young people who watch this who are currently affiliated and currently out there doing all the similar stuff that you did when you were coming up? How do you tell them, and what do you tell them to try to reach and help them or anything?
You got to be yourself for one. You can't let the influence, because that's how I was. That's how it got to me. Seeing the neighborhood, they run around with red flags. I'm like, man, what the hell is that? I don't got no flag. You know what I'm saying? These people look cool. Oh, they drinking. They smoking. You know what I'm saying? Don't be enticed by things to make you step out of your square. You can stay in the neighborhood and not be in the gang and be respected by being a man. It's just how you stand on it. It may come with trials and tribulations. But when you get those tough times, you face with those, you got to stand as a man. When you dealing with those, try not to make mistakes that alter your future. And I know it's hard. It's easy saying it than actually doing it. But no, it's not, because you control yourself. If you're a man, woman, or anything, you can say no, man. It's okay to say no. It's probably stuff that come with saying no, because guess what? You may look at it as a lame. You may look at it as ain't cool. Oh, he don't fit in. It's okay not to fit in. It's okay not to be cool. It's okay.
What do you hope to do with beginning to share your story here? Obviously, you have ideas of doing your own social media, which
Yes.
I encourage you to do. But let's talk about that a little bit.
I want to be able to talk to the people, the of course the youth, the older people who struggling with their business, the ones that's behind the wall, to let y'all know, hey, look, you can come out here and you can be successful. Yeah, you may not be a millionaire, but it's okay. Money is only paper. We only need enough to pay these bills, but we ain't sleeping on the street, and our kids don't want for nothing. It's nothing wrong with that in the world. It's nothing wrong with that. I want to let them know, don't be scared to come out like I was. I was. At the end of the day, I was scared because I watched people come back so fast. It made me think, man, Mike can't be nothing but out there. Cause dude had a good head on his shoulder when he left from doing his time, and he's back.
Well, look, Cord, I think this is a good place to wrap this up. I appreciate you sharing what you have, and these first two videos that we've done, these have been some powerhouses, and I hope that they resonate with the people who watch them.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate your time. I'm gonna look forward to sharing more with you real soon.
Yes, sir. I definitely be here.